Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number
6
of the Young and Hungry FireCast with my homeboy Jay _Azeltine.
I love it, Zach. What up, man? What up?
Dude, how you like your name in my phone?
That cracked me up, bro. I saw that on Twitter and absolutely died, and everyone loved it. Like JAY _Azeltine, classic, bro.
Dude, it's your name, man. So what's going on, Jay? How's your week been going, bro?
Absolutely wonderful, man. I mean, literally nothing I can complain about. Top of the world. Zach and I just had this conversation before we started the show about keeping perspective. Even if you had a bad week, which I didn't, even if you had a bad week business-wise or something, just keeping that perspective and just thinking grand scheme and big picture. Like, I don't have any type of disease that I know of. I don't have any illnesses right now. Nothing, you know what I mean? Nothing drastic. Nothing's really going on with the family, anything like that. So, like, I mean, my week was fucking fantastic from that standpoint. And business standpoint, it was great too. But you got to really keep that perspective, though, even if things business-wise aren't going the best or whatever.
Oh, dude, for sure. Keeping perspective, you know, you're thankful you don't have cancer. You know, you weren't born in a third world country. You know, you're not.
Or like Gary Vee says, you weren't born a tree.
Yeah, you weren't a tree, an elephant, or like those 60,000 ants I killed the other morning on my way out of the house. You know, you wasn't born any of that, so it's really not that bad. At the grand scheme of things, like Jay and I are talking about conquering fears and just a few different things. We talk about public speaking, something I get into a little bit, and trying to push my way in. You know, it does get nerve-wracking because no one wants to fail in front of somebody. No one wants to look stupid. But when you put it in perspective and look around and be like, dude, none of this shit even matters. I mean, think about it. None of us are going to make it out alive anyways. We're all going to die. So really just, go for it, dude. Conquer your fears. Keep perspective. You know, it could be so much worse.
100.
So, Jay, let's talk about what we got going on this weekend. I'm pumped. I'm hyped.
So, Zach has his first photo shoot.
Ooh, I'm looking shreds too, man. Jay got me dialed in.
He's looking ultra shreds. So I'm actually about to head over to Zach's gym, which I haven't been there yet, so I'm super hyped about that. I'm going to head out this morning. We're going to shoot a ton of content today and tomorrow and get a ton of video content for the Young and Hungry FireCast YouTube. If you're not subscribed, you better fucking subscribe. You're going to miss out on some fire content. And then, like I said, Zach's got his shoot tomorrow, so we're going to be shooting. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be some sort of like content inception. You're going to be doing your photo shoot, but we're also going to be filming content at the same time. So it's going to be nutty.
Dude, I think that's like a perfect recipe for like a crazy hurricane because I don't know no one's ever really done that. Like, so as we're doing the photo shoot, so it's pretty cool because Jay piqued me into it. I now just a little disclaimer here. I'm not going in there trying to look like I'm trying to win a bodybuilding show. You know, I'm not trying to portray something I'm not. You know, I'm the powerlifting guy. But when I'm going in, I still want to look good. I want some good filler content for my website. And also, we have the shoot coming up September 15th in Muscle Beach. So I'm trying to figure out, how dialed in do I actually have to be and still be able to pull 600-700 pounds, closer to 700
This
pounds.
Dude gets shredded up real quick, though. I mean,
dude, it was like 8 days, right? Like literally like 8 or 9 days of like true dieting. And this week was the hardest of true dieting. But that just comes from that density, man. I'm not a huge guy, but I've been training for strength my whole life, basically. So I'm real dense. So whenever I do shed off that water and a little bit of that fat, boom, it pops out.
Speaking of that, and we kind of touched on this, I think, on the last episode, but it reminds me because I've been doing a lot of studying this week of the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding. I think it's what it's titled by Arnold, super classic book and so forth.
Yeah,
so I've been studying that all week, and it's something Zach talked about. I think, like I said last week, is that really, even if you're a bodybuilder, training heavy and doing heavy shit at least part of the time, because that's what builds that dense muscle and that quote unquote man muscle. Whereas if you're doing all volume all the time, you're going to be able to tell, like it's going to show that that's all you do is volume and you don't really have that dense muscle and so forth, which is what Zach was just referring to.
Yeah, you can almost see it on stage with these guys too. I mean, just look back in history, guys. Arnold Schwarzenegger was actually a powerlifter, competed in powerlifting. Ronnie Coleman did 800 for reps. He was a powerlifter. So these guys actually got their start in powerlifting. I truly believe if you want to be massive, you have to move big weight. That's just how I feel. And I'm just never been a fan of fake muscle.
I feel like
I've been a fan.
I feel like it increases like your overall structure. Like it just builds a bigger base structure when you're doing heavy shit. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, it makes you just like broader, thicker.
Exactly.
Just overall, just a better looking physique in my opinion. For the guy who trains heavy and then leads down in. Now, obviously, everyone has their different niches and things they like. Some people might just like doing 1,000 reps. Do what you like. I'm not telling you to do something you don't like because at the end of the day, I just love lifting heavy. That's why I do it. You know, if I didn't love lifting heavy, I wouldn't do it.
You do lift fucking heavy.
Yeah, I do what makes me happy, and I feel like even when I'm programming, I tell the guys, you know, here's our core lifts, you know, movements we got to hit, and then this is like how I like to structure guys' programs, and then falling off, like we'll do accessory work, and then I call it sub accessory work, so that'd be like flies, which I don't do a ton of, or, you know, dumbbell bench, just little things that are a machine that a guy's like. So I try to ask, you know, my clients, you know, what do you guys like to do for your sub accessory work? Because at the end of the day, we still want to enjoy going to the gym. I don't want to throw 8 workouts at you today, you know, 8 different exercises, and you hate 6 of them. Well, why are we even there? You know, so that's how I try to program, and I've just actually got into that the last couple of months.
It's got to be sustainable, man. Like if you're programming stuff, like you're gonna get the results, but if you're programming stuff for your clients that's not something they enjoy, that's not sustainable for the long haul. Maybe over the 4 to 6 weeks or a couple of months that they're with you, but once they get back on their own, they're basically just going to fall off most likely because they're not going to enjoy the process and so forth. So you got to figure out how to make the process enjoyable. Same thing with the diet. That's why, again, I've spoken about this before. I really like anabolic fasting because it's so sustainable over the long haul. And I think that's so key. Whereas with macro counting diets, when you're weighing everything out and you got to make sure you don't go over this amount of macros and all this bullshit, it's not sustainable.
Dude, no. So this is a huge knowledge bomb for trainers right now, online and one-on-one trainers. Make sure your workouts are sustainable for your clients. You're going to keep them longer. Like you're going to make more money if a client's seeing results and they're liking what they're doing, you're going to keep them longer, right? So you can't play too much one way or too much the other way. So you can't just say you have to do exactly what I say, nothing else, because you're going to then get your client upset and not want to come back. And you can't just let him do everything he wants because he'll probably not going to see the results.
Yeah.
Because usually if we like to do something, it's usually easy for us. Like I really love like squatting, benching, and deadlifting because it comes easy to me, right? But so that's definitely a huge knowledge bomb. And if you're a client or if you have a trainer, you should think like, oh, it doesn't have to be this bad. Like I don't have to do it, this way. Like Jay, we just signed up a friend of mine here in town, and she was on a diet, and she was eating like 1,100 calories and like 18 weeks out for freaking
20 weeks out, even better.
20 weeks out from a freaking
shout out to her coach
for a competition. I'm like, what are you doing? You're miserable with your life, I was like, you got to get at my boy Jay, and she neglected it, and finally she just got to the point where she's like, she wasn't losing no body fat, obviously because she's such a deficit. Jay and I talk a little bit about it, and she found Jay, and she's like, dude, this guy's the real deal. I'm like, duh.
And she spoke about, which is what happened to me with my first cut, when I was doing the 5 meals a day, 6 meals a day, or whatever last summer. She spoke about how after she got done with this coach and decided she wasn't going to do the show, that she kind of reverted back to eating. Not even reverted back to her old ways, but actually like went on the opposite end of the spectrum where she kind of went a little bit crazy and started eating everything, which is what happened with me too. After that first cut, I went 8 weeks, like I've spoke about before, without a single cheat meal. It was like every 3 to 4 days I'd get a sweet potato and a banana. Like that was legit my cheat meal. So
that's like crazy, dude. So that's not really like maybe human like 100 years ago, but in the day and age we live in, that's like you feel like you're like suffocating.
Exactly. So after the shoot, I basically went full on fat boy and just ate everything for like 3 months, bro. I shot at
You went Zach Hummel for 3 months.
I shot at 161, and at one point, after a hard weekend of eating, I was up to 195.
Unreal, dude.
Yeah, I was a doughboy, bro.
Bro, that's freaking awesome. So that's exactly it, guys. Usually if you go all in on these macro diets, and that's why I've never been a huge fan of dieting. When people ask me what do I do, I kind of I eat as healthy as I possibly can, as often as I can, and then the anabolic fasting rolled around, and I'm like, okay, I can screw with the diet kind of like this. Now I changed it up a little bit. It's a little bit different for me on what I'm normally doing it. I might break my windows down a little bit different and stuff, but it's easy. Like even this last it's roughly 2 weeks. But I did cheat a little bit. I told my coach Jay that I cheat a little bit, but it was easy for the most part. It wasn't like it was extremely challenging. But I see myself too maybe getting a little bit too lean. I didn't want to get too crazy lean for the shoot, so whatever. I have my own reasons, but dude, so sustainable. I could do this diet. I could do this leaning diet for almost ever. Maybe not being full keto this week, but the whole entire diet. It's so easy, so sustainable, and you get to live a normal life. Like the other day, we were at the Mexican restaurant together, just kicking it, eating regular food, all the homies. So it was cool, But I'm excited about this weekend, Jay. Filming the content stuff. Just so you guys know, if you guys don't already subscribe to the Young and Hungry FireCast on YouTube, do so. But we do plan on having the content live on both of our pages as well. We're going to cover, just some of the no bitch asses tips. And go over and just give you guys some workouts we're doing to show you guys that we're together, grinding, and tons of knowledge bombs too. Jay's going to bring me into his world a little bit. I'm going to bring you into my world, show you guys around the Iron Valley some, and it's going to be dope, dude. Like, I'm so hyped for
I'm
tonight and
ultra
tomorrow.
hype, bro. Like, I can't believe I haven't made it to Iron Valley yet. I mean, it is a couple hours away, but no excuses.
No, I've been to Columbus like 10 times since then. Like,
It's about to go down, though. I'm hyped. But hey, let's talk about the past week and kind of talk about like your daily routine a little bit and just cover what happened over the last week. But I think people are really interested in like just the daily routine and the daily hustle and what goes down because a lot of people they don't really know. Like, I don't know, just kind of go in depth with what your daily routine looks like, man.
yeah, so this week was a little bit off the normal weeks. I'll still tell you a little bit about this week though. So Saturday, Sunday, all last week I was only sleeping about 2 to 3 hours, which usually I'm used to 4 hours.
Crazy.
And then I'll get a reset day on Sunday where I'll sleep 8 to 10. I know I don't talk a ton about it, but that's what I do. This Sunday I was on my way to Columbus to play in the football game with Corey and them, and it's a charity football game. And I was on my way, and dude, we hit a traffic jam, bunch of car crashes. It ended up being like 8 or 9 hour drive, so we just turned around, right? And I got home, and I felt like my body was it was beat down. I started on the diet, so I went from 600 grams of carbs all the way down to 200 grams of carbs. So it's like that week. So I was already feeling a little fatigued. Bro, I laid down. I slept for 14 hours.
You gotta listen to your body, right?
Dude, that was more than I slept like all week.
The
So
whole week
like
accumulated together.
So I went ahead and I had a couple nights where I slept like a normal human being, 6 to 8 hours, and then I followed the week up. After Wednesday, then I was back on my 3 to 4 hour grind again. It's like I've been right now, and I don't think people really understand. The hustle is real, guys. When I talk about it, it's real, and also when I talk about the hustle, that's everything in life. It's not just work. It's your work with your relationship with your friends, your family, your mom, your dad, the people in your business, whatever it is. It's just consistent work. So I'm up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm prepping for the day, getting my meals ready, drinking some coffee. Then I might move in to head to the gym, train a couple clients, do some online training, work on my book I was talking about a little bit, writing on my book. Just doing some future planning. Maybe I do some reading. So it's not like in between I'm just like constantly 24/7 sending emails and stuff, but I'm also doing some self-development work. Every time I get a minute off, I'm working on self-development, So it's taking care of the time, really utilizing my time. So if I know I have 30 minutes here, I could do two things. I could scroll through the web, or I could actually apply some knowledge, maybe put on some Gary Vee, or listen to Eric Thomas, or listen to how to become a better motivational speaker. That's some things that I'm doing right now. So it's the consistent every single day hustle that you can apply and all that. The smallest amount of time, you still got to keep on putting that work in. Because a half hour here and a half hour there and a half hour there, guys, that's an hour and a half of your day you done wasted. So I'm real big on this.
Compounds.
Yeah, I'm real big on this capitalizing on small stuff. A successful person doesn't just wake up and be successful. It's a compound effect of this small daily habits. Every single day, just pushing. So I did that. We're still working on some content for this supplement company I got rolling with here coming up.
Ooh.
I'll talk a little bit about it later. So I'm working on some content for that. And Joey and I are still dropping YouTube videos. You guys ain't checked out my YouTube page, Zach Homol Power. Check it out. Putting my workouts on there and dropping bombs. We'll jump into failure later, but it's actually really cool. We're going to talk about today, and I talked about that on my last YouTube video. So yeah, this week's it's been good. It's been about a normal week besides the slow start. Just been grinding every single day, and I try to really let everyone know around me that I, like, especially since last week I talked about it a little bit, that I am human. So I do have ups and downs. I have failures. I have setbacks. But what defines me and what's made Zach Hummel is the fact that Jay got a cat. Jay just pulled a cat out of nowhere. What the hell was that? What's made Zach Hummel is not that the fact that he's failed 100,000 times. It's that he's been able to keep getting back up. He's been able to handle adversity. I've been dealt with adversity since the age of 11, 12 years old. I'll talk more about my past moving forward, but basically at 11, 12 years old, I had to become a man. I had to start providing for myself, providing for my sister at a very young age. And that was hard. It was harder than an emotional subject, but I manned up. So now, no matter what gets thrown at me, I'm so mentally tough that the things that I've already dealt with and adversity I've already overcome, that I can handle anything moving forward, because I think I've already been dealt with some of the hardest times I'll ever have to deal with. And
Mm-hmm.
it's made me a man. I feel like a lot of people just haven't dealt with adversity, which is, I'm not knocking you. Like if you grew up with a family who was rich and you've had everything spoon fed to you, good for you. But now you have to figure out inside of you, whenever you
Yeah.
do get dealt with tough situations, you don't go get prescribed fucking Xanax. You know what I mean? You don't just fall off the deep end and think you need this help, this help. No, what you need to do, you need some self awareness. You need to say, hey, this shit
Mm-hmm.
happens. I need to handle it.
Yeah,
But
man.
Jay, what's up? How's your hustle this week, bro?
Absolutely wonderful. To follow up on that though, like at the time of that adversity and such, when at 11 years old, when you had to start going through all that and becoming a man, I'm like, it probably felt like it sucked and like, why is the world doing this to me? But now it's like, man, I wouldn't be the same person right now. Like I wouldn't have the hustle that I do and all this stuff. Like that shit really did
Oh,
end up
dude.
benefiting you and turning into the person you are now. So like at the time, and it's the same way with having like a dad that really pushes you to work your ass off and work for everything that you want as a kid. And at the time, you're like, man, my dad's a dick. My dad's an asshole. I hate this. But then once you get older and you have crazy hustle and work ethic, you're like, man, my dad's awesome. I'm glad he did that for me.
Oh, dude, Jay, follow up that, man. I'm so grateful for my past. I would never, ever take it away. At the time, I remember sometimes I was like, why me? I look around at the other kids and they're going on vacation and doing this. And, I was just worried about surviving. I was in the straight survival mode. And I
Mm-hmm.
would wonder why me. And even then, I remember, at 13, 14, I'm working all summer with my dad roofing, providing. I have to do it. I have the roof, and everything I make is my money that I have to spend on school, whatever it is. And I was like, all my friends are going out and enjoying themselves, and I'm wondering, why me? Why me? But then I look around, I'm 19 years old, and I have a $170,000 house. They're
Yep.
looking around and saying, why you? What do you mean, why me, motherfucker? I've been grinding. Like, I've been working like 9 years. Like, this like it not happened overnight. This shit's been happening for 9 years. Like, I've been working for 9 years to get this house. And yeah, I fell into a good job. Everyone's like, you're so lucky you were at the coal mine. What do you mean luck? I have the work ethic
Corey
to
and I
back it
literally,
up.
Corey G and I had this conversation last night on a call. We were on the phone for probably 20 minutes and we were just discussing all the work that goes in to get you to where you are now. And people don't really take the time to look into that. They just see where you're at now. And for me, for example, some people not necessarily hate on me, but they think I was just given the opportunity to be so close to Corey and be the main trainer on his website and this and that. And they don't see all the time that was put in and all the 5 a.m.s when I was 17 years old and the vision that I had and all this other shit that led up to where I'm at today. They just see where I'm at today and they say, oh, Jay was just handed this opportunity with Corey and yada, yada, yada. So
Yeah, they
you know
feel
what I
like
mean?
everything. They neglect to think that you work 3 jobs to put yourself in front of Corey, and dropped out
Mm-hmm.
of college and put all that work ethic in the mornings at 5 o'clock when you're 17. And there's a lot of people who do say that, but usually the people who are saying that probably aren't even tuning into the Young and Hungry Firecast. They're probably not even young or hungry, so they look at this Firecast like it's stupid.
It's probably like that guy that commented on my Gary Vee post last week and said that it was completely incorrect about your shit being broken if all you live for is the weekends and vacation.
Such a douchebag, man. And I've seen some dude comment some negative shit on Corey's page the other day. And when I see
Always.
that, especially when I see like my homeboys like under fire, like I know whenever I go under fire on Instagram, dude, I got like a gang of motherfuckers, like half y'all gooses by like fuck you to the dude.
Yeah.
And it's so cool to see it. And I'm the same way. Like if I see someone casting shade or trying to hate, like I hate when people try to discredit me. Like I had some dude the other day trying to discredit like something like, oh yeah, you're good at this because you're short or something, or like I'm like 5'7", 5'8". And I'm like, dude, fuck you. Like, I wasn't born strong. Like, this is all,
Mm-hmm.
hard work, consistency, and faith. I do believe there's a bigger power out there that's helping me move forward. And my faith's a different thing. We can get into a different subject, a different time.
I think one of the biggest reasons behind that is that they're not around anyone that's really great at what they do or anything, and they just don't see the work that goes into it. Because even myself at a younger age, like seeing if I would have seen someone like you or even like Corey, I really wouldn't have realized how they got there. But now that I've really been around Corey for so long and been around you and other people that really excel at what they do, I've seen what goes into it. So I think for the most part, those kind of people are just kind of they just don't see what goes into it because they're not around people like that.
Oh, that's it, man. Like the way we just talked, like there's no such thing as instant gratification. I mean, or there's no such thing as overnight success. If you're searching for that instant gratification, it's
Mm-hmm.
probably not going to last. It's like how many people hit the lottery for 10 million bucks and they're broke in 3 years.
Always, bro. Always. That shit happens every time.
But the guys who are working day in day out to make that money, they keep the money. And that applies to everything. That applies to the gym. If you're a dude who just jumps on steroids and you get real big real quick, I see this. Holy shit, dude! Because I've been training 11 years, and where I'm from, like people just don't give a like. When I say it's super blue collar, some of these motherfuckers just want to be strong. So people start taking stuff, taking steroids and different things, and they get big fast, right? And they blow past me. There I am. I'm still grinding. I'm still grinding. Next thing you know, they fall off the map. Guess what? I'm still grinding. I'm still here, and I see that all the time. The fluctuation,
It's like
up
tortoise
and
versus the
down.
hare.
Dude, that's it, man. You just keep on plugging. Keep moving forward, keep chipping away. But it does get discouraging. Being a guy who trains at the gym 6-7 days a week, and to see someone come by who's smaller than you, then catch you, then surpass you, and you know why. You're like, well, what the fuck? Should I do this? Should I do this? And at the end of the day, I am not for steroids, and I'm not against them either. I think we're all born with free will. You do what the fuck you want. It don't make a difference to me. That's why I've always competed against myself. I never cared what nobody else was doing. I would never say, I wouldn't even compete in federations where it's a drug tested only federation or a non drug tested only federation. Like I compete wherever, whenever the closest meet is the meets I go compete at,
Mm-hmm.
to where I'm never going to say, oh, I'm Zach Homol, the strongest 181 non-tested athlete. No one gives a fuck. Dude, who's your favorite bodybuilder? Probably Roddy Coleman and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Do you think they did steroids? Wake up, motherfuckers. That's exactly, just
Yep.
wake up and smell the coffee to realize, like, no one gives a shit if you're on or you're off. You have some internet gangsters hating at the end of the day, but at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. I mean, I know I don't give a fuck.
Exactly. All right.
They just work on bettering you.
We get in some real rabbit holes on this podcast.
Dude, I think that's what makes us great.
I think so as well. Just to cap off our conversation to start the podcast, my last week was awesome. Just to get into some of my daily stuff, just so you kind of see like what a daily structure.
Did we even
for
talk
me.
about days? We're like 20 minutes in.
Well, I jumped into something and then it went into something else, and I love it though. So past week was good. Basically, my weeks are usually just cranking out content, writing, and getting some video stuff and so forth, and obviously hitting the gym, studying, learning more about the body and fitness in general. But yeah, so my daily routine is basically I'll wake up 4:15, 4:30. I'll get up. I'll get some pre-workout in me, of course. Got to have that caffeine, major key, and then I'll head to the gym. I'll get to the gym about 4:50, 5 o'clock every day. Be at the gym from anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hours sometimes, depending. Leave the gym by about 7, and then I'll head home. And on my way home, this is part of my morning routine every single day now. I've really instilled this in myself. I'll listen to an audiobook or a podcast that's instructional or informational like Gary Vee on the drive home. Drive home is about 20 minutes long. As soon as I get home, I will go ahead and meditate for about 10 minutes. It really gets the day started for me and clears my mind and gets me just clears the mind and just gets me in a good mood and a very positive outlook. So I'll meditate, and then I will hop in the shower. I'll take a shower, and then I'll get out of the shower, read for about 10 minutes. It doesn't sound like much. Meditate 10 minutes, read 10 minutes, but that shit, like we just talked about, compounds. If I do that every single day, 7 days a week, or at least 6 days a week, shit comes up sometimes. It'll add up after a few weeks, after a few months, after a few years. And then after I read, I'll usually sit down and look at my goals, and then I'll go ahead and get into my day and start cranking out content. And if I have any free time, I'll read some. Like I said, I'm reading the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding right now, so I'll do some reading in that, some studying. I'll watch some Gary Vee, and other than that, I'm working on client stuff. I'm writing up workouts for the next week. I'm reviewing their nutrition, their meal logs, shooting them some emails or texts if anything's off on their meals and see what's up. Other than that, though, it's just always staying busy. Like you said, if there's any free time, it basically goes into self-development and self-improvement with the reading, the YouTube with the Gary Vee, and any other type of YouTube you want to watch that's actually going to benefit you and help you. So there's always something that you can do in some way to improve yourself. Like even last night, like once I didn't feel like really doing any more workouts for the day or doing any kind of computer work, so I hopped on my bike and went out for a ride because for me, when I go out on bike rides, it's like a creative just brainstorm sesh. So that's even another aspect of self-improvement and work for me because I'm going to have some ideas that come out of that and are going to end up coming in to fruition. And then that's going to end up making me money or build my brand or build my business. So there's just basically like, for me, it's just utilizing all of my time and just making the most of it. Like I very rarely ever will be sitting down and watching some bullshit on TV. Pretty much all day, every day, it's some sort of self-development. like you said, it's not always grinding, doing computer work and all this shit. It can be self-development and reading and so forth, but it's basically just like I try to utilize all of my time and try to make the most of it.
Dude, absolutely. That's the best way to put it, man. Even when you have your downtime, you're still working on pushing forward. So it's really cool. My girlfriend Ashley's actually making the transition to come in. She was pretty content. You know, she's approaching 30 years old. Not to drop you there. She don't watch the podcast anyway, so who cares? She'll listen. She's like, I hear everything you say, Zach, every single day. You're yelling at, you know, you're spitting at me every day. I don't need to listen to the FireCast. But anyway, so she's turning 30. But Ashley's really successful. She is able to work part-time and but when I met her, she had a house, she has a son, she's a single mom. She just crushes it. She makes really good money and still only, you know, she has a lot of freedom in her job, where she can work part-time. So she was really like almost content. And, but now like I've kind of pulled something out of her, you know, like not meaning to, but kind of just did. And now she's trying to progress herself in a different realm of things. And she's got a little bit more into fitness and different things, trying to be in the best shape of her life before she's 30. And so I'm sitting there last night and I'm doing some work and just doing some research, just reading on some different things, a little bit about the keto diet that I'm on right now, and just kind of get a little bit of in-depth knowledge. And I look over and she's working on a book. You know, she's working and reading. So it's real cool
Love
to see
it.
that, you know, we still watch The Bachelor and Bachelorette, don't get me wrong. But, you know, when we first met, we might have watched a movie, and now we're just working on self-development stuff. So it's real cool if you can, you know, drag your partner into
That's
doing
pretty
the
cool,
same
man.
stuff.
That's really cool to hear. Like, that is something that's going to be key for me when I do decide to get into a serious relationship. I don't really want to get in anything because I want to move across the country and explore the world. But when I do get into something, man, my partner's got to be someone that wants to continually develop themselves and better themselves and have big aspirations. I could never be with someone that just wants to just live their life and just watch bullshit TV all day. And you know what I mean?
It's hard. I'm sure a lot of people are in those relationships. Maybe like you've changed, you know, who you are. You're trying to progress, and then your significant other's not. You know, that can make it so hard on you to where dude. Me and Ashley, I looked at her as a one night stand. She was not gonna be my wife. Like that was just. And then next, you know, we just met, and like our initial conversation was like, we both went to jail before, so it's like that's what we talked about.
I love it.
And mine was nothing crazy, but I went for underage drink, and hers was about the same thing. So we hit it off, man, from day one. So when it's right, it's right. But definitely, I found her, she found me, and we were able to connect on a high passion level where we both enjoy kind of doing the same things. We're both entrepreneurs, kind of, you know, real successful in our given careers. So that's why we hit it off.
Love it, love it. Hey, so we just kind of touched on it, but let's just discuss instant gratification and how rampant that is in today's society and so forth. And basically,
you know why? You know fucking why it is, Jay. It's
why?
because Instagram. Why? It's because motherfuckers get 400 retweets and 600 likes on fucking Instagram, and they feel this like high, and they're like, that's their instant gratification. You know, they're already won, and they feel like they've done that. That already makes it the pinnacle of their life. You know, their pinnacle of their day. That they got those 400 likes and they're happy. No one wants to play the long ball game. Everyone wants that fast. I call it drug money. That real fast like money. That's really, when you get it, it's like putting money in your sock drawer. You know, it's gonna run out. You know, I mean, it's actually putting money in the bank and saving money. So so many people are searching for that, and it's because of social media. And in my ass, I mean, I'm sure it's always been a factor, but so many people want that instant fame, instant success. They want to have that
instant
they want
abs.
to instant abs. They want to go viral. But it like our community, you know, that's something that we're pushing. You know, instant abs, 10-minute abs, 6-day diet to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah, there's all kinds of bullshit.
Don't eat and take X-Lax all week, you know. So there's so many things. It just drives me nuts because, you know, anything worth having takes time. Even if you go viral, are you going to keep it? You know, do you have the content? Like, if one of my videos went viral, I think I could, like, sustain it because I have really good content, and I'm really, like, I'm not cocky or arrogant, but I do believe I'm good, and when I'm around people in the industry, I know how good I actually am, so.
It becomes glaringly obvious when you look at other people in the industry.
So it's like when someone does go viral, and I might check him out, I'm like, this dude's whack. He's stupid. No, like the guy who does the bro science, that guy's fucking great. Like, he's so funny, right? Like, I don't know about his like intelligence level as far as training, but he's hilarious. You know, he went viral and he's so funny. So that's cool, you know. But yeah, instant gratification, it's whack to me. You
From
know?
a branding standpoint,
I'm playing a
man,
long game.
like you said, with the branding standpoint, I don't think it's sustainable. I mean, some people do take advantage of it and make the most of it. They have one video that pops off, and then they're set for the rest of their life, and they continue to build the brand, but they continue to put the work into it. it's a continual process. Just from a specifically and strictly like a branding standpoint, I feel like, I mean, if you have one thing pop off and then you don't post anything on your social media for 3 weeks, that's just going to fall off real quick. Like, you got to have the talent and ability to continue putting out the content on top of what blew you up.
It's got to be good. Like, a lot of people are asking us, I see that me and Jay started talking about this a little bit the other day, that people are asking me what I do about content, and they don't really, not been in the game long enough, or they don't know nothing. The content got to be good. Like, you guys aren't coming to the FireCast.
Gotta have talent.
We're not coming for the FireCast because we're stuttering. You know what I mean? You got to be good.
Yeah, man, it takes talent. Like Gary Vee talks about it all the time. Like, you can put as much effort and work into it as you want, any field basically, but you got to have the talent. That's what it comes down to. The hustle, you got to have the hustle too, but like, if you don't have the talent, then you're just going to continue to spin your wheels. So you got to be self-aware enough to know, like, is this for me? Is this what I really want to do? Do I actually have the talent? And so forth. Because it is going to take hustle, of course, but you're going to have talent too.
Without a doubt, man. It's the talent thing. So I realize I don't capitalize. I only capitalize on things I'm good at. Like, we talk about who gives a fuck. I think you have to just have it pinned on your Twitter. Only give a fuck about the things you're good at. Fuck everything else. And I don't try to focus a ton on things that I'm not good at. Like schoolwork, for instance. I'm not very good at math. There's so many things I'm not good at. But guess what? I know Google is. There's a lot of things I don't know. But I have the smartest man at my fingertips, or the smartest thing at my fingertips, which is Google. You know what I mean? It's the internet. So,
but book smarts aren't nearly as valuable anymore these days.
No, it's not. Like, who cares if you fucking can give me every times table? No,
the third president in the United States.
Yeah, I'll hire somebody who can tell me that. Like, that's the way I look at it. And hell yeah, man.
That's what I think it was Andrew Carnegie that said that, and maybe Think and Grow Rich or one of those books. He's I can't remember the exact story, but he's like, why would I?
He wasn't actually that good. He wasn't that good at Andrew Carnegie. So he wasn't even that. He like worked at a steel mill, but he didn't even know that much about steel. But he goes, "That's fine. I'll surround myself with the people who know the most about it." He was smart enough. He was self-aware. Dude, he was self-aware. It's like so many people, like, they get ego-driven. They're not self-aware. Like, I can do this and I can do this, and they flood themselves. Like, right now, it's like, I probably could cut down my videos, and I could probably cut my grass. Like, I can do all this shit, but I hire it out because I spend more time on capitalizing on things I'm good at, not things I'm just okay at.
That makes so
That's
much.
a fucking knowledge
bomb. That makes so much
sense.
Fucking knowledge bomb. And is there anything worse than being around someone that acts like they know everything about...
They're trying to one-up you all the time.
Yeah, they know anything and everything about every single topic in the world. Like, no matter what you're talking about, they're going to act like they know more than you about it, and they just know all of this shit about it. And I mean, I'm going to be upfront and be like, I don't know anything about that topic. But some people, man, and they are so unbearable to be around. It's just like they just try to front and just act like, I don't know why they do it, but they just try to act like they know everything. And
dude,
that's it. Like, see right through it.
Dude, that's it. Like, whenever we start talking about a topic I don't know, and I think I'm a pretty smart guy when it comes to nutrition. But now, if Jay and Corey are talking about nutrition and Dustin, I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. I'm gonna let them talk. I'm gonna learn because I know they know more than me, so I'm just gonna listen and I'm gonna learn from them. Now we're talking about the powerlifting thing and talking about leverage and shit. You're gonna hear me just start to rant because I know more about it. So I stay. If I don't know something, I'm kind of really a quiet guy. Gary Vee talks about. He does the same thing. He says, and I think everyone should. Anyone who's self-aware should be quiet if they don't know something, because whatever you don't know something and people do, it gives you a good chance to learn.
Boom. Just a follow up on the instant gratification thing, because I know we had a question about how we built like the one-on-one stuff so quickly, and obviously, I mean, yours you blew up, and mine's starting to really continue to grow every single month, almost doubling every month. And someone asked about
the kid is killing it. Jay is well deserved, man. It's well deserved. So go ahead and talk about this. I want to follow up.
This is gonna go right in hand with that. So people ask, like, how did it build up so quick? And it's like, I spent the last 11 years. For me, it was the last 5.5, 6 years of being in the gym every day and surrounding myself with people like Corey and even Dr. Serrano and a couple, Dustin, of course, and some other high level people. I put the work in. I studied. I showed up at the gym every day, surrounded myself with the correct people, and now I'm able to utilize that knowledge and all that information that I gained, and be able to apply that and start doing the one-on-one training and such. Whereas most people, like we talked about, they want the instant gratification. They've been working out for maybe 6 months or a year, or even less, and they're asking, like, how do I start my online training? How do I build this? And it's like, you gotta put the time in. It's about delayed gratification.
Because they look halfway decent on Instagram and they're getting likes and they think they can train somebody.
Exactly. So go ahead and follow up with that.
Yeah, man. This is basically the same thing. Like, Jay, you've been putting in all this work. It didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean? Even though it's just like it blew up, and I told Jay, like, dude, jump on the online training. I would have never told Jay to jump on online training if I knew he wasn't qualified. You know, if he wasn't, and I'm not calling about qualified as far as being an ISSA or CPA certified trainer, whatever. You know, something stupid. Like, I knew he was qualified, knew he was talking about. I told him to jump on it because he'd be successful. The trainers who aren't qualified, who really don't know that much, aren't going to make it. You guys aren't like when the industry gets a little bit tight, which it will. It's only a matter of time before the economy goes up, down, up, down. Y'all are going to drown, but I'm good. I know what the people are going to come to me still because I know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, whenever shit gets tough, you really see how good you are. You know, are you able to survive? And that's just less competition when that happens. I mean, I'm not worried about, oh no, people aren't spending money on training now. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get more people because I know what the fuck I'm
That's
doing.
where we're going to thrive the most.
Word, man. All right, Jay, let's jump into another topic, talking about don't be afraid to fail. I know you like to cover this a lot, and I think a lot of people are afraid to fail, and afraid about what other people think of them. So go and hit on what you think about not being afraid to fail, and what's how you live almost quote unquote fearless, and how you've been able to achieve the things you have and drop out of college and everything that you've accomplished from basically putting your fears aside or just manning up to your fears.
Yeah, so exactly. I like how you ended that because I don't want to act like I'm not afraid of anything and I'm fearless because I definitely am. That's something I've dealt with, like just overcoming the fears. So basically, I think it's less so like not having fears, but it's more so being able to overcome them and still push through them and do what you want to do. So yeah, so it's like the college thing, for example. When I was considering dropping out of college, I really didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if that was the right decision. I definitely had a gut feeling that it was, and I was pretty confident, but I still had that slight fear, and I wasn't sure exactly again what was going to happen. So I just had to overcome that and trust the process, trust myself, trust my gut feeling, and so forth, and just go with it. So there's always going to be that fear there. I don't want to act like that you're not going to have fear, because I certainly always do. And even people like some of the best public speakers, they say that before they go on stage, I forget what book it was. I think it was The War of Art. Talked about one of the greatest performers. I think he was a musician. He puked before he went on stage every single time. He had been performing for like 40 years. Every single night before he went on stage, he would puke because he'd be so nervous. But again, he would still push through that fear and that nervousness and go out and do it. So I think the fear is always going to be there, but you just have to figure out how to push through it and realize on the other side of that fear is going to live your goals and what you want to do. But yeah, there's always going to be. I mean, this applies the whole not being afraid to fail thing applies to fitness and everything in life as well. Because if you're just focusing on how afraid you are of missing a squat, you're gonna go out there and you're gonna miss it, right?
Absolutely, dude. Most of
100%.
the time people fail because they let their self fail. Like they get, they psych their self out with anything. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same way. Like even with speaking, everyone's like, dude, when you speak, people are starting to gather around and listen. Dude, I still get nervous when I speak. You know, I mean, my heart still gets racing. That's how I know I love it, because it challenges me. Anything that challenges me, I love. And dude, not being afraid to fail and overcoming my fears. So moving out to when I moved, I know I talk about this a lot, but this is a hard time in my life when I moved out to Indianapolis, dude. It was hard, and I was afraid, but I went anyways. I manned up. I almost take, whenever I'm afraid of something, I get angry. Like, I literally, like, you might not see it on my face, but inside, like, I am pissed off. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been afraid to take a 700-pound squat. It's just going to snap me if I just fucking come loose or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So, but I take it with so much anger and so much rage, where I have to succeed. I
So
have
the
to go.
fear is going to be there. Basically, is basically kind of what we're trying to get at. The fear might always be there, but you just got to learn to push through it and really just attack it. Like you said, just get pissed off and attack it.
Absolutely. Like, I was afraid of heights, but I was a roofer when I was 13. You know what I mean? I'm still afraid of heights. I still don't like going up high, but I just go anyways, and I conquer my fears. That's the only way to actually think progress is. You're never going to progress unless you're uncomfortable. You have to be in uncomfortable situations and put yourself in uncomfortable positions to succeed. So, and that just comes with fear. Usually if you're uncomfortable, you have some fear about it, or maybe your fear of usually people fear the unknown. I mean, fear and hate kind of rolls in together too. People hating on you is probably because they fear you. They don't get you. That's why they hate you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just to follow up with that, I mean, you're going to miss out on so many different opportunities if you're afraid to fail. Like, you're not going to step out of your comfort zone. Like you just said, you got to step out of your comfort zone. Opportunities are going to present. I say this all the time. You're going to have opportunities presented to you throughout your life. You just got to recognize them, jump on them and make the most of the opportunity. But if you're afraid to fail, you're afraid to try new things, you're likely not gonna jump on the opportunities and really go all in on it and experiment and see what happens. You're just gonna settle for what you're doing and stay comfortable.
Oh, dude, if I was afraid to fail, I went up to the gym. So I know, like Corey and John, I remember this really hit home on me on one of the podcasts. Was directly when I was like opening the gym. Basically, a lot of small businesses fail because they have lack of capital. But guess what? I drained everything. I mean, I had basically nothing when I opened the gym. It's just like, okay, I got my bills due this month and the gym bills. And I know what I got to come up with, and and then I'm an entrepreneur on the side, like my online training. If my online training just plummets this month, which it's gone up and down and kind of things, it's always,
Mm-hmm.
anytime you're doing any type of thing like that, it's never like 100% like guaranteed money. So the gym needed to have X amount of members to, X amount of dollars to succeed that month. If not, I didn't have the money, Jay, to even put back into it. But guess what? What I lacked in capital, I made up for hustle.
Oh, I think I heard you say that on the phone this week.
Oh, that's fire right there, man. But now let's just take a step back and realize for anyone who is opening a gym, because I get this all the time. How do I open a gym? This, that, and third. For those who are opening a gym, realize where you stand. It's been working good for me because I've built a name for myself over the past 11 years. I set a couple world records, some junior world records in powerlifting, some open world records in IPA powerlifting. So I'm a little bit more well known. And it's not just because I remember I was on the phone here with my buddies like, oh yeah, you succeed because you know who Corey is.
Yeah,
Dude,
I get
Corey's
that
played a
all the time.
huge, yeah, Corey's played a huge role in my success, and I would never ever discredit
Mm-hmm.
that because he has. But guess what? Corey's not just like, oh, he hasn't held my hand the whole entire time. He gave me a push and I ran. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. It's like I've capitalized on his, the opportunity was presented to me and I capitalized on it. Just like Jay and I just capitalized on this podcast. So it really rolls down
Yeah,
to
Corey. I mean, Corey, like you said, Corey paved the way. We recognize that all the time, but we took advantage of the opportunity. Even like with Muscle Beach, like when he called us and told us about Muscle Beach, we ran with that and decided to put out more content than ever because we recognized the opportunity. We knew all this exposure was coming our way, so we're like, "Fuck, let's start a podcast. Let's get all this going," because we know again all the exposure is going to come our way. So we took advantage of the opportunity, and now we're making the most of it.
dude, for real. Like we could have if we're not self-aware, like not realizing how great of an opportunity this was, we could just be sitting around right now, not writing, not doing the podcast, not filming this content.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't be driving 3 hours to work with you 3 hours to work with me. We're capitalizing on the opportunity. You know what I mean? It's like so many people has been given opportunities, maybe not the exact same, but very similar to this,
Mm-hmm.
and then ran with it. Like I was on the phone the other day with another one of my buddies. He's like, dude, you're so lucky you live the life you want. I'm like, bro, it's just nothing to do with luck. I was like, I said capitalize. And that's like, when I hear that from people like on a phone, I'm on the phone with people like that, I don't want to talk to them no more. I don't want to call them like, you really think this is luck? You think I'm a leprechaun?
I mean, they honestly, I really do. That's really how they think. And again, I think it's because they've never been exposed to people like Corey. I think that was really key for me recognizing, because even growing up, man, I think a lot of the books that Corey introduced to me, it comes back to Corey, really opened my eyes up. But I think even when I was younger, I didn't really know how people became rich and how people became ultra uber successful and became the best, or basically rose to the top of their field. Like I didn't know how that happened. I thought maybe they were just really gifted. They had this natural talent, which some people do have a shitload of natural talent and so forth. But it wasn't until I really got around people like Corey and other high level people he introduced me to that I realized, like, oh shit, these people spent their whole lives. Again, this is a knowledge, but I'm focusing. Focus is major key. You gotta really focus and have a narrow focus. So people really hone in on the one thing that they want to do. The one thing, I'm reading a book right now titled "The One Thing." You gotta focus on one thing. But yeah, they put all of their time, they put all their eggs in one basket and focus their whole lives on becoming, let's say, the best at bodybuilding or the best at strength training like you, or the best physical therapist or whatever the fuck it could be. They put so much time and effort into that and surrounded themselves with the best people in that field and mentors and so forth. And that's how they got there. They weren't just lucky. They weren't just naturally gifted and all this stuff. So I think being around people that are at the top of their game really exposes you to some things and really opens your eyes up.
Definitely. And along the way, something I want to talk about too is sacrifice, which you have to be willing to give up to get there. So really, at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Corey was willing to give up everything to get to where he was. I was willing to give it up. I was willing to give up everything I ever known. You was willing to give up everything you ever known. You had to be willing to sacrifice. You had to be willing to give something to receive something. Are you really? Maybe it was Eric Thomas. Someone said, "Are you willing to give everything you are for everything to be everything you're destined to become?" And I think about that every day. Is because like I've done that numerous times in my life. I've given everything, to become who I know I'm destined to become. And I'm willing to do it again and again and again. I'm willing to go ahead and file bankruptcy in my house. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for Zach Homol to enhance 7.5 billion people in this world. Whatever it takes, I'm that passionate about. I'm willing just to give up everything. Go down, like, I remember for so long, even like now, like I am making good money. I'm doing well, right, for myself, but I don't buy new shoes. Like shit, the last pair of new shoes Corey gave me from Reebok. Like, I'm not going out and spending my money on dumb stuff because I know there might be an opportunity that's going to arise where it's like, okay, Zach, you need 40G to do this, to invest in this. And I'm like, oh, I got it.
I
But
love that.
if I'm out there acting like an asshole, spending fucking $500 a weekend at the bar, acting like I'm balling with my small little budget, and in the grand scheme of things, guys, I think the bottom of the 1% is $400,000 a year. So that's a goal of mine before I'm 30. I want to make $400,000 a year before I'm 30, and it's a small goal. I always want $1 million in my account before I'm 30. So there's a few things I'm working towards. And not that I'm a tight ass because I eat out all the time. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I'm not blowing my money on fucking new pairs of shoes every single day. I'm not flashy. My fucking Dodge Adventure still has a hole in the back of the bumper that got someone hit it. Like I can buy a new car, but I don't do it. You know what I mean? So it's like being smart, as you go about the process.
That's so key, man. Like I'm making more money than I ever have in my whole life, but I'm spending probably less than I ever have. Like you just said, there's going to be opportunities that arise. I mean, I'm building a house too, so I got to save some money for that, of course. But it's like there's going to be opportunities, like we just spoke of throughout your life. Opportunities will be presented to you, and you may need some capital or whatever. So yeah, and that also follows up with earlier, like talking about when people win the lottery, they end up broke on their ass a couple years later, or even less, because a lot of people, low income people, they have this thing where as soon as they get their paycheck and whatever money that's coming in, they spend it right away. With
Dude,
us,
Rich Dad Poor Dad,
yeah.
Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about that. That's why they stay in the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
The middle class is real. Like they'll want to spend, they'll save up all year long for Christmas. They'll spend $3,000. They'll save up all year long to spend $3,000 or $4,000 on a vacation. Guys, take that $7,000 a year. If anyone's listening to this in the middle of the class, this is what I did at least, and apply it towards your goal. Something that's going to make you more money moving forward. I'm not talking about putting it in CDs or giving it to a dude who invests your money. What are those guys called? Financial advisor. Like
It's a glorified bank account.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like, guys, if you want to invest, hit me up, invest in me. I'll make you some fucking money because I know my hustle is there. Invest either if you don't have the hustle and you want someone else to hustle for you, find someone who's actually closer to you, who like maybe a young guy who is grinding. That'd be a good good person to start investing in. And I just don't believe giving my money to like a financial advisor, like, hey man, good luck with it. I'm putting all my chips on me, motherfucker. I'm winning. I'm gonna win.
For sure. No, I really like that. I do have a 401k, but it's like that.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about 401. For sure, I have 401k.
But I think honestly, I think it's just a glorified bank account. I really don't think the returns are that. I haven't really studied it, but everything that I've heard from super successful people, like it's just basically a safety net. Like it's just something. And for me, I think I'm going to end up eventually taking it out because there's tax breaks where you can invest it in real estate and transfer it back and forth. So for me, it's something like that. So again, I like you said, investing it into to businesses or investing into hustlers. I mean, I know a guy when I was really into real estate investing before I really got all into my fitness stuff. I was meeting with a guy who was mentoring me, and he all of his funds for flipping houses comes from private investors, and he's making these private investors, a ton of money, like 10-12% return on their investments. So there's always people out there you can invest in.
Dude, that's fucking awesome, dude. That's great. I don't live for Social Security. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Buzz.
Oh, fuck that.
I'm living for Social Security and a 401k. Like I do have a 401k. I don't put no money into it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I did when I was in the coal mine and stuff because that's all I knew. Right now, I plan on making so much money during my life where I ain't gotta worry about living off the government. I don't want the government's money whenever I turn 65 or however old it is.
It's not gonna be there anyways.
Right. It's like I'm hustling for myself, and probably at that time anyways, I'm still gonna be fucking lifting weights. I'm still gonna be like on the podcast 40 years later, the FireCast, like,
Young Hungry FireCast episode 2000.
three hip replacements later. I'm squatting to death all the time, but fucking for sure, dude. That I want to drive this right into our next topic, man. Stop talking about it and start being about it. I hear everyone talking about what they're gonna be, or I hear people talking about what they did in high school or did before. All that really matters, guys, is what you're doing right now, your daily habits. And, it's not, your daily habits are going to drive. Yo, what's up, guys? I'm back. Me and my boy Jay on part 2 of the episode.
Well, technical difficulties.
6 of the FireCast. So we were just dropping so much fire, the computer was like, fuck this, and overheated. All right, so we're back. We're talking about stop talking about it and start being about it. Dude, basically, I just hear so many people, especially from my hometown. Especially now that I'm quote unquote made it, which in in my perception of things, I didn't make shit. I'm out of where I was. You know what I mean? I've never truly made it. But they want to tell me what they did. Like, hey, I've done it. I'm gonna do this, or I used to do this, or whatever it is. It's like, just stop talking about it and start showing me actions. I'm so big on actions, actions, actions.
Yeah, dude, I think that people, honestly, that aren't about it and they're not doing it, those are the ones that are going to talk about it the most. Talk about what they're doing and so forth. Like, if you're about it, like, for example, with Corey, I mean, you rarely hear him talking about all the things he's got going on because he's all about that action. Just like Marshawn Lynch says, I'm all about that action, boss.
Dude, for real.
Marshawn Lynch is the homie. Yeah, so just be about it. Like, you can talk about it all you want, but until you actually do something and bring that into reality, then no one's going to respect you and no one's going to really give a fuck.
Dude, talk's cheap, Jay.
It is.
Talk's cheap. Jay's not talking about coming to Indy this weekend to film content for y'all. He's coming in.
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there in person for the next 4 hours.
That's it, man.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, you can talk about it a little bit. Say one thing. Say, this is what I'm gonna do, and then never talk about it again until you do it. I think is the way to go. But yeah, just be about it. You don't need to sit there and continue to say what you're gonna do and this and that and all the bullshit. Just take
Dude,
action.
it's like this photo shoot. It's like, I had no reason to fucking be cut. My performance at its highest right now. I have no reason to cut. But I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do a photo shoot, and I said it once. And I'm like, well, it came out your mouth. Now it's time to do it. So I find myself a good coach, dropping a bomb. Jay Azeltine, Jay _ Azeltine.
From that standpoint, I do like what you just said is just sparks something in my head. Saying something once and putting it out there on social media or something holds you ultra accountable. So from that standpoint, yeah. So from that standpoint, saying something and if you think you need that extra accountability, I think that's gonna definitely hold you accountable. So say it once and then just fucking get to that action and then put the work in, and you don't need to continue to talk about it and say, this is what I'm going to do. And then a week later, guys, I'm about to do this. And then a week later, guys, I'm actually about to start doing this. You just fucking do it.
I'm starting next week. I'm starting tomorrow.
I'm going to start. Oh yeah. That right there. I'm going to do it tomorrow.
If you guys want to start something, whether it be business, gym related, anything, start now.
Yeah, this moment.
When I say now,
turn the podcast off right now and fucking start.
Before you leave, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating and then roll out. You got to start right the fuck now, man. I'm huge on it. So I'm going to drop something real quick. I'm totaling 1,900 pounds at 180 this year. I said I'm doing it. I'm fucking doing it. And I guarantee if you're at a meet that I'm at, I'm not going to even shoot for anything less. Like, if I say I'm going to do it, I'm at least going to fucking shoot for it. And I'm going to do it. I'm not going to say, like, I'm going to shoot for 1,900. You're going to see me at a meet. I'm going to do 18. I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm shooting for 1,850. No, motherfucker. I'm going for broke. I'm going for 1,900 or I'm not going at all.
Yep, and you're going to put all the work in. You're going to put all of that work in necessary to get there. Even if you do fall short, even if that happened, you'll know that you put every single ounce of time, effort, and energy into trying to achieve that. And I know, knowing you're going to fucking achieve it. But
absolutely, yeah.
You just got to, I think the biggest thing is putting all the work in leading up to that and knowing the day of the show, the shoot, or the competition that you put every single ounce of your being into that and trying to achieve what you said you wanted to achieve.
For sure, dude. Give it everything you got. It's like going to a photo shoot. You're not going to go in with fucking shit hanging off you, right? You're going to look good. You're going to give everything you got.
Some people, someone that I don't want to get into it. That's another rabbit hole. Yeah. So let's see what we got Twitter question wise. I know you made a tweet last night, and again I say this every show, but we really appreciate everyone sending us questions, staying engaging, and so forth. That really helps us, and it makes it fun, and it makes I feel like everyone's a part of it when we do this.
Dude, for sure, and the FireCast is growing. So here's another thing, guys. We've been getting so many questions of recent between Twitter, Instagram, Snapchats, directs. That we're going to be answering a few each week. So definitely keep on pushing forward to get on the show. We're going to name drop you guys. And it's just growing a little bit too fast. We can't answer 7,000 questions. Not that we're quite there, but we will be. So Alex Skulin says, I kind of like this. We talked a little about it already, but I want to recover on it. How did you guys grow your online training in 2 months? Dude, come on, Alex. I've been doing shit 11 years.
Exactly. Yeah. No one realizes all the work that actually led up to starting the training. For me, it was 3 or 4 months ago when I finally started, and for you, it was earlier in the year. No one sees all the work that went into that, so it's like I've worked out. I put myself around the correct people, and I grinded for 5 or 6 years. Whereas with you, it was even longer. But both of us put a lot of time into it before we decided to actually start trying to train people.
100. That's all I gotta say about that. We've been putting in the work.
And
Thanks
then
for
we
the
have the
question,
talent. We have the
Hunts.
talent, of course, as well, and we know how to build content and build a brand on social media. Where we're starting to learn and feel like we're pretty decent at it thus far. And so yeah, that's a big key as well. Like, I mean, there's a lot of people out there with a ton of knowledge, but they have no knowledge on social media or branding online. So you got to have knowledge in both areas and a lot of different areas to be able to build online training. You can't just have the fitness knowledge and not have the social media knowledge, the brand knowledge, and so forth.
We're 100. You need the recipe. So I see a lot of guys actually back in my hometown who don't. They have all the components as far as the knowledge base and the years, the years under their belt, but they just don't understand social media, and they just don't understand. They don't understand how to interact with people. They're not a people person. So there's a lot of things that go into play. Next, my man Brian. I never know how to say Brian's last name, but he says, growing up, what was your favorite sport to play? And did you prefer a team or individual sports? I like this question.
Oh, interesting. For me, it was always track. My mom was a track coach, so that might have been part of the reason. So I would say track and field, and to be more specific, it was the hurdles. I always ran the hurdles. So for me, it was a individual sport. Track, you're on a team in track, but it's a lot more so individual because no one was running that race with me. It was all on me to determine how I did and the work that I put in and so forth. So I think I really enjoyed the individual. I mean, I did a lot of different sports when I was in middle school and younger. Basketball and football and all that shit. But I eventually just basically did track in that individual event of the hurdles and a couple other races. But so for me, it was individual, I guess. I never really thought about it, though.
Which dope, but play makes sense, makes a lot of sense, and I feel like people who do play individual sports seems like they're a lot better. Like a lot of entrepreneurs I know have played individual sports, whether it be bodybuilding, whatever. It's because it's kind of like it's all on you. So to fall back on it, I did play all. I played basically every sport growing up, but in high school I found a love for boxing. There was a boxing gym down the street, so I picked up on boxing. I amateur boxed, and that's definitely been my sub passion.
Got
Even
them
now, I
hands, boy.
still love hitting the bag. I still love doing it, and I really loved it because, like you said, it's all on you. So if I put my defense down, I couldn't blame it on nobody. I got my bell rocked. I got knocked out. I got hit. So it was always on me, and I like that pressure. I do really well under pressure. It's so funny. We'll be filming content sometimes, and I'll be thinking about what I'm going to say before, and I'll maybe do a couple of takes without the camera on, and I suck. I'm like, get the camera. Just put the camera on me. Once the camera gets on me, once there's some pressure, a few people looking at me, I just roll. That's why when I'm doing this public speaking, I'm not even like prepping for it. I don't even have a note card. I'm just like going in there, looking around, and then I'm spitting because I do so much better under pressure. That's why I do so much better at meets and different things where it's just like I come to the dance.
When the lights are at their brightest, you're ready.
Right, man. So the next question from Kyle Allen, he's a beast. He's on the team, man. Guy works full time, also in the military and going to college to get his PhD. This motherfucker is a hustler, dude. He's the epitome of team win the day, dude. So I'm pumped for this guy. What is the motivating factor that comes into play to sacrifice your time to impact or to help others?
I mean, it just comes down to having the vision. I think you just have to have a really strong. I'm actually writing an article right now for my blog about the importance and the benefits of having a strong vision. So if you have a very, very clear vision, putting the work in and keep staying motivated, like we've talked about before, and so forth, it's going to be easy.
100%. You have to really truly believe you can do it. You have to have that vision and know you can really do it.
I think that's key, man. Like you said, having the belief that you can do it and thinking big. That's another thing that I've been reading a lot about lately is thinking big, having really big thoughts, which turn into big actions.
Word, like when I say I was on a bench, 400, people thought I was stupid. When I say I'm on bench 500, people still think I'm stupid.
You truly believed that it was possible, and you truly believe that you're able to impact the world. I think that's a huge key because if you say it but you don't actually believe it, it's going to be tough to actually achieve that.
Yeah, you got to really truly believe in your goals and truly believe that you can do it. Like I say, I'm impact the world. I've been saying this so long. People think I'm stupid. They think I'm whatever. I'm okay, cool. Maybe I'm just lying to myself, but when I'm lying to myself, I have myself my own self believed a lot. Bought it.
You're buying the hype.
I'm buying into like I'm impacting the world. It's the last thing I do. I'm impacting the world every single day. He also wrote in another good question. Also knowing what you know now about the reality of the grind, what would you have done different in your past, Jay?
I've said this before. I wish my parents made me work when I was a kid, but I wish I would have had to work even harder. I wish I had to work every single weekend as a kid almost. Like, I wish I would have been working like Gary Vee was when he was 10, 11, 12 years old, selling baseball cards on weekends, but then his parents forced him to work in a liquor store. Literally, his whole childhood, he was in the liquor store all weekend, every week, basically. So that is what really develops that work ethic and just the hustle in general. So I honestly wish I would have been forced or taken that upon myself to work harder when I was 12, 13, 14 at such a young age. I think I would have had even more hustle now. I'm always improving my hustle and working harder and harder, but I think that really benefits you when you get older.
Absolutely. I probably would have learned more. I probably would have paid a little bit more attention in
That
school.
too. Mm-hmm.
That would have definitely helped me out right now. I'm not going like, I do a lot of like self-development work now, but going back, it'd be a lot more easier if I knew how to spell better, if I knew how to formulate my words and sentences better on paper, so that would have helped me a lot, but no regrets.
Fuck it,
I'm
yeah.
pushing. Yeah, fuck it. I'm not worried about the past. I'm worried about the future. So I'm just moving forward. What diets are you guys going to go back to after the shoot? Wow,
Let's do
Jay's
it.
going carb life. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah. So actually, something I wanted to talk about my past week was that I'm finalizing all of the stuff for my first wave of Carb Life shirts. So stay tuned for those. They're about to be straight fire. First shirt's going to be banana and peanut butter. So definitely stay tuned for that. But yeah, so after the shoot, I'm going to start really gearing towards the powerlifting meet at Old School in December, which is actually going to help me do some programming. I'm going to pick his brain on the flight out to Cali, and on the way back, the whole time I have a notebook, and I'm going to be writing shit down and learning from the best, like we always talk about.
On the way back, we're drinking a Jack and Coke, though. By
Hey,
the way.
I got free drink vouchers for the plane, so I got you covered.
Let's go.
As long as we're on Southwest. Yeah,
right.
so basically, I'm going to really gear towards the powerlifting meet. I think I might try to hit that, 165? Is that the weight class?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yours is a 65 class. I think you'll make it too, and you'll be a beast.
So if I try to stay around like 172, which is about what I'm at right now, maybe a little heavier, I think I won't have any trouble dropping water and making 165. So I'll probably go back to the whole carb life thing. At least I'll probably keep it to 2 or 3 times a week because honestly, I feel a lot better when I'm eating sweet potatoes and bananas for my normal carb spikes. So I'll probably do a little bit of carb life, and then I'll keep it clean for the other half of the week. And other than that, though, I'm going to be on pretty much the normal anabolic fasting. I might kind of tweak it and experiment a little bit because I'm all about trying different things and seeing what works best and using the body as a science project. So honestly, I'll keep most of the basics and the principles for anabolic fasting, but I think I'm going to kind of tweak it and try my own thing because I really am just, like I said, all about just trying different things and really, because if you don't try new things, like we talked about earlier, you're never going to figure out what works best, and you're never going to discover things that really might change your life. Whereas if you never really dared to experiment and try new things, you would never discover them.
I really liked when you said use the body as a science project.
Oh yeah.
So many guys like, how many carbs do I need? How much this do I need? I said, you really have to just relate it back to it's a formula. What works best for your body.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's so key. Everyone's so much different, which we've again discussed before. So there's not one set diet or one set macro plan or whatever, one set training plan that's going to apply to everyone. So you just really got to try different things and experiment. And then tracking the results is key. Like if you try different things and don't actually track everything, then you're not going to know what works. So I think that's key too.
Yeah, it's definitely logging. I tell my guys, try to log like every day how you feel. Give me a rough estimate of what you ate that day. You know what I mean? And that week, and then you track that week. Like, hey, this is a really good week, and my carbs are at 300. Okay, let's keep them there. There you go. We figured it out. You know what I mean? If our training gets a little bit more volume or a little bit more high intense, we're going into a meet, maybe up them, and then just figure out what works best for you. But Jay, let's wrap up the questions. I think that was good. Let's jump in. Let's leave them with no bitch assness tip of the show.
Oh man, I almost forgot about the no bitch assness. I was so deep into the rest of the conversation, I forgot about the no bitch asses tip of the show. So my no bitch asses tip of the show is going to be dumbbell pullovers.
It's going to be fire. This is about to be fire.
Yes, not only dumbbell pullovers, but some of the things I see people doing correctly, because no one does them correctly, to be honest, for the most part. So dumbbell pullovers for one, most people don't do them at all. It's a movement that a lot of people don't even know what it is, or they just kind of blow it to the side just because they don't. I know you're not a big fan, but I personally love them. So what they really work is the serratus, the upper abs, and then the lats. And what I see people doing incorrectly is they really keep their hips up way high. So how you do it is you put a bench sideways, you lay across it perpendicular, and then you basically get in a position where your neck's hanging off the back. So you'll sink your neck back and lay it backwards, and then you'll sink your hips down. One thing I see people doing is they have their hips basically parallel with the rest of their body. So their upper body and their quads and their hips are all parallel, whereas you want to really sink your hips, and then again, you sink your neck too. And what Arnold talked about was basically wrapping your body around the bench. So when you wrap your body around the bench, you're going to get the most stretch, and you're going to get the most out of the lift, and you're really going to crush those serratus, upper abs, and lats. Like, when you see Corey, when he's shredded up, it looks like he's got fucking gills running down his side because he's put so much work into dumbbell pullovers, and there's other movements as well, but I think dumbbell pullovers are one of the biggest ones for the serratus and just that whole area. It just looks like fucking just fish gills when you get all tight. So sink the hips, and then also one other thing is keeping a little bit of an angle at your elbows. You don't want to have your arms completely straight, and you don't want to have the angle too much. So I would say a little bit further out than 90 degrees, so maybe like 120 degree angle with your elbows, and just keep the hips down throughout the movement, and try to touch the dumbbell to the ground on the way down. And you're going to get a crazy stretch. Like, if you're doing it correctly, you're going to feel it. It's going to feel like your ribs are popping out. I forget the exact muscle, the muscles that are between the ribs, but it also just destroys those as well. And if you do those, I usually do them like 3 to 4 times a week, your serratus is going to be sick, nasty. And 12 to 20 rep range is usually where I try to keep it. Try to go pretty heavy, and again, try to touch the dumbbell to the floor. And if you need more basically like video direction, check out my YouTube. I have a video on there that I walk it through, and I'm sure Zach and I will touch on it this weekend, because we're going to record video for all the no bitch assness tips. So Zach, what you got for me?
Dude, that's dope. You said make sure your hips are dropped, because so often when I do those, I know for a fact my hips are flat, and that could be why I don't like to move it that much. Not that I dislike it, because I do throw it in my training maybe once a month, maybe, but it's not like a staple in my training as far as for you and Corey. But you guys see the results, and they speak for themselves, so I know it works. You know what I mean? But that's really cool how you got to drop your hips, and also the elbow placement. I was never really sure on elbow placement, and that's huge. Just a lot of things I talk about is just a small thing. So how you talk about your elbows, I know my elbows were always really, really flared, almost like a 90 degree, and it felt awkward on my shoulders, so I didn't do it. So now that I know how to do it from the no bitch ass tip of the show, I might just start fucking crushing. You never know. You never know. So actually, I'm gonna steal this from Nick Showman. What's up, Nick? How you doing? Nick's he competes at Westside, owns a training facility in Newark, Ohio. And something I already know, but I just was reading it on Instagram this morning. I feel like I want to reiterate it because it is true. So I'm going to go ahead and quote Nick. And thank you, Nick, for the no bitch as tip of the show. First is quote unquote, if your chest falls down, if your chest is going down as you're going down on your squat, you have weak abs. If you're coming up out of your squat and your chest buries, that means you have a weak upper back, which is absolutely 110% true. If you're in your squat, I'm talking, guys, a centimeter. If your chest dips from the start, if you're already bent over slightly, you already want to be at a slightly bent over, and you want your chest to stay in that direct angle the whole entire time. If it falls any more, that means you have weak abs as you're going down. As you're driving up, if your chest rolls, your upper back rolls, so it rolls over top of your chest, your upper back rolls, that means you have a weak upper back. As you're coming up, you want to be thinking you're trying to push your back as hard as you can up into that bar. Like you're almost trying to flick that bar off of your back. Not only is that going to keep the weight off your knees, but it's going to put all the weight back on your heels where the weight's supposed to be and keep your chest up. So just be thinking, go ahead and take a video of your squat this next week and see if your chest is caving forward. Let's go ahead and get more ab work in. For abs, I know everyone's going to ask, let's do lots of weighted stuff. Jay does the weighted stuff. We're going to cover a lot of ab work this week because you're only as strong as your core. So that's something we will be covering this week. And for your strong back, I like to do a lot of bent over rows and a lot of seated rows. When I talk about seated rows, I do them almost daily, guys. I do a fuck ton of upper back to make upper back strong. So that's your no bitch ass this tip of the show.
That's something I learned. I mean, I saw his tweet this morning. I actually learned a lot from that because my chest doesn't necessarily cave when I'm on my way down into the hole, but when I come out, there's always a slight cave. So my upper back, and we talked about this with the whole deadlifts, which I've already started to add it in for the deadlifts, but I think it's going to help my squat now too. Is I've been really hammering the bent over rows over the last few weeks since Zach told me to start doing that. I think that's going to help my squat too, because my upper back must be a little bit weak because, when I come out of that hole, I always fall forward a little bit, so that must be upper back.
For sure, man. And I like to do my bent over rows heavy too. I do a few sets where I'm keeping them tight, then a few sets where I'm just fucking cranking out some. Like I remember I was bent over rowing 455 a couple months ago, and it wasn't like they were strict, but they were bent over. Like maybe I wasn't totally standing totally straight up, but I was at an awkward, definitely a high angle.
Mm-hmm.
But at that angle, that's the angle you squat at. So my upper back's strong enough to pull it up into it. And that's all that really matters is always my upper back strong to pull it up into it. It's going to hold me at 455. It's going to hold me fucking tight on that 700-pound squat. And at the end of the day, you can't talk shit if my form it gets a little lackadaisical on reps unless you're squatting and the other thing over 7 and approaching a 500-pound bench. If you're not, shut up.
Let's go. All right, let's wrap this up so I can get some work knocked out, and then I can head to fucking Indianapolis to get to Iron Valley, crank out some content. So, if you guys are listening on iTunes, subscribe to the show. If you like it, give us a 5-star rating and give us a review. That'll help us move up the charts for the, I think it's like the fitness category. So we'd really, really appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. Of course, again, we're going to be knocking out content this weekend. And then also basically every other weekend or at least once a month, we'll be getting together, knocking out a ton of stuff for, we'll have it live on multiple different platforms. So just subscribe to the YouTube channel and so forth. Other than that though, Zach, leave them with some parting shots.
Guys, good. Hit me up, Zach Homol Power on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. The Instagram Snap stories are getting fire, so we're gonna start really hammering on that. Jay and I will be hitting on that on this little weekend. We're
gonna be all over Snapchat and Instagram story. You guys ain't gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah, you guys are like, dude, these dudes' content. There's too much. There's too much information. So hit me up, guys. I'm always open to questions. So usually I try to get back to everybody's questions a day. I'm getting 20, 25 questions a day. Try to get back to everybody. So hit me up on there. And, dude, Jay, get this work done, bro, so we can start this weekend, man. Let's go.
I'm going to go knock out some work, and I'll be in Indy in no time, Zach.
Let's go. I'll see you soon, bro.
Later.